Hello YouTube, my name is Emilio, and as you can probably tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about why I'm switching to the Galaxy Note 4. And if you see me look down throughout the video, it's just so I can make sure I'm talking, hitting all my talking points and getting all the facts through, making sure that my point is coming across correctly. Alright, let's get started. For the longest time, I've been wishing Apple would make a leap and impress us with what they come up with. In the fall of 2016, when I got my 7 Plus, I was hoping it would be a big jump. I was hoping it would be a big change and that I would notice all the improvements over the 6S Plus. It was sort of just these iterative updates year over year, and I hadn't really noticed. And for months, it was feeling like I just spent almost $1,200 on a phone and I'm not noticing the differences. And that's an issue for me, because it doesn't help me justify the money I spent, and it doesn't feel like I'm getting a value for what I paid for. By $1,200, I mean, the 256 gigabyte iPhone, the AppleCare, and a case. And I also got a couple other accessories, but I'm not even going to include that. And for $1,200, really all I was getting was a marginally improved camera, non-clickable home button. It was solid state, water resistance, even though I never dropped my phone in the water, a portrait beta camera, and the screen was a tad bit brighter and a tad bit more saturated. But again, for $1,200, it wasn't really feeling like I was getting my money's worth. But ultimately, in my day-to-day usage, like I said, I'm not noticing these differences. Sure, photos look better, maybe I squinted a little bit less in direct sunlight, but it wasn't worth it. I was really looking for something new, something that was innovative and exciting and would actually bring the change I wanted in the smartphone. I don't know what it is I want, but I will know when I see it. And finally, the Samsung Unpacked event happened. Then they announced the Galaxy S8 with the new screen that went from edge to edge, the new, I think that was pretty much the big feature there. I think they had some additional camera improvements. They're keeping the headphone jack there, and really it felt like something new. I'm looking at my phone all day long, every day, and so the screen was so important to me. I really wanted to get a taste of what modern day Android was like, and so I bit the bullet and switched over. And as you can see by my Apple Watch, I'm still on iPhone at the moment, but I switched over, and for a while it really felt like the change I was looking for. I love the customization of Android, and what I mean by that is not only can I just change my wallpaper, but I can change the app layout, and it doesn't have to be in chronological order, and I can get custom launchers, and I can really go in and tweak the things the way I want them to be, and I can have widgets, not only in my notification center or when I swipe to the right on an iPhone, but just anywhere. It felt new, it felt exciting, it felt like exactly what I was looking for. Then I started to realize that it wasn't perfect in the way I needed it to be. For example, Snapchat and Instagram were really unoptimized for not only Android, but for my specific device. Whenever I would send a picture from Snapchat, it would end up letterboxed, meaning it was like a very skinny and tall photo, and it would look really wonky on iPhone devices, and my videos, whenever I posted to my story, would be just absolute terrible quality, like horrible, and it just wasn't good, and my Instagram pictures would also be really low resolution. There was no iMessage, and people were complaining to me because my messages were green, and I couldn't FaceTime, and I also it felt like I was out of a loop. So, and then not to mention also the camera quality was great, but the way that it made skin textures look whenever I took selfies, and the way it made my skin look just wasn't good. It didn't have that nice Polaroid graininess that an iPhone did. So last fall, I switched to the iPhone 10, and I loved that thing so much. At least I thought I did. This phone was even more money, starting at $1149 for the 256 gigabyte model, which, with all that 4K video I had on my phone and all those apps, there was no way anything less than that would have worked. Especially not the 64 one, having come from a 256 gigabyte iPhone 7 Plus, if you know what I'm saying. Initially, when I got it, I was hesitant to really acknowledge all the glitchiness of it all. For example, whenever I went out into any temperature change, like if it was cold outside and I was coming from inside, or going from outside of a restaurant to my car, my phone would freeze up and it wouldn't register the touches, for at least for a few seconds. Sometimes it would randomly freeze up, and the freezing would happen up until I think an update that happened in May, randomly freezing. And even all summer I had dealt with random springboard crashes, meaning the iPhone would randomly just kind of restart itself, not to the Apple logo, but it would just restart itself with a little spinny icon. And it was always running warm, even when I wasn't doing any gaming on it. The reception wasn't as good as I had in previous iPhones. It just felt like everywhere I went, it was less service. Everyone would always tell me that my FaceTimes would cut out, or the audio would go weird for a second or two, and I don't know, it just wasn't the smartphone of the future experience I had been expecting. The notch, I got used to it, and navigating around, I got used to that, and it just felt like the same old iPhone experience, and I didn't notice anything different, really. Nothing that mattered to me. Last week, Samsung Unpacked event happened again, this time for the Galaxy Note 9. And it came out that, they have the improved camera from the Galaxy S9. They have the improved S Pen that works as a clicker and a presentation remote. They have the Samsung DeX, which turns any PC monitor you have into a computer-like experience by just one cable straight from your phone. I tested out the camera. It looks as good as an iPhone now, and now they have the dual speakers straight from what Apple had been doing for a couple of years, and so the volume gets really loud and really clear. The screen is 6.4 inches compared to 5.8 or something like that on an iPhone, and you can really tell the difference. It feels like a big phone without feeling like a big phone, if you understand what I'm saying. The 7 Plus, which I have somewhere around here, feels so massive, and the screen isn't really that big, but on a Note 9 you really feel like you're getting a very efficient use of screen real estate there. And so I want to ask you guys the question: are you also considering the switch to Android? Are you team iPhone, team Android, something else? Let me know. Leave a comment down in the comment section, and let's get the conversation started. And over the next week or so, or in a week or so, I want to talk about what my initial impressions are, my initial review. I'm going to be talking about things that people actually use the phone for. I feel like a ton of reviews out there go over the same 15 things, and I want to make my reviews definitely I like what your average consumer does. I like what Erica Griffin does. I like what John Frettinger over at Techno Buffalo does with their reviews, and they give such honest and raw opinions, and they're not afraid to tell you exactly how it is they feel, and it doesn't feel just contrived. No shade to anyone else or anything, but yeah, and I want to definitely talk about in a few weeks when Qualcomm has their event. They're going to be releasing, it looks like, new processors for watch devices, and so supposedly that's going to bring about a ton of change and breathe new life into the Android Wear smartwatch game. And I'm hoping that this fall they come out with some true competitors to what I think is quite a nice Apple Watch. Well, anyways, this has been a ton of fun. Love talking about this kind of stuff. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Like I said, Like this video if you liked it, leave a thumbs up. Dislike it if you disliked it. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting out new videos, hopefully every week, even more often than that if I can get into the flow of things. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Talk to you guys later.